Hi friends, in today's video I wanted to share another tailor's tip with you that I used to make my gray pinstripe suit. So let's get started. Now the pattern I made is Simplicity 8508 and I did view B. Now this is a reproduction pattern from the 1940s. Now this tip may look difficult, but it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Yes, there are 3 steps in this technique. Each step will be time-stamped in the description below, so you can go right to it by clicking the blue timestamp. Now let's identify our pattern pieces and learn how they correspond with each other. Piece number 1 is the center front to the jacket. Here you can see the collar, the lapel, and then the center front where the buttons go, and here is the hip area. Number 4 is the side front. Now it's important to note that there is a dart that is right here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark that dart because it's real important to pay attention to where the darts are. As you can see, here is the jacket front, and you can see that dart runs through this pattern piece here. Now piece number 5 is our pocket lining. Now I used actual lining for this piece, but you may wish to use fashion fabric. So that's why I'm including it in this demonstration. Now number 14 is the skirt front, which also has darts. So you can see the dart here at the waistband. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark that dart in here as well. I will explain to you why the dart placement and where they are is important for us to take note in a minute. Okay, now that I've explained the pieces, let's get to our 3 steps. Step number 1. For this, we are going to use a circle that attaches the pattern piece number 1 and pattern piece number 4 and pin them, being careful to be precise. So here in pattern piece number 1, there's this circle here. In pattern piece number 4, there's a circle about right there. Now these 2 circles go together to make this side and the front match each other, okay? So let's go ahead and pin that right there. Okay, now I'm remembering that my dart is here on number 4. Now, up here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pin this as well. Now, of course, let me move this down a little bit because we want to make sure that our section up here at our 5/8 seam allowance and our 5/8 seam allowance is meeting there, and then our circle is meeting over here. So what we're trying to do here is to mark exactly where these 2 pieces go together with each other. Okay, let me pin that again. Now it's very important to be precise here. Okay. So that's step number 1. So now let's go on to step number 2. Now remember, we have to pay attention to where our dart is on number 4, as well as our center front on number 1. Now I'm going to draw a line that cuts through both of these pattern pieces on this side of the dart. Now how do I know where to put that line, you may wonder? Well, by using the center front line. Now all patterns have a center front, whether it is on the fold line or marked on the pattern itself like this one. Now measure over to a spot where both pieces correspond each other and draw a line from one end to the other. So now let me take this here And I have my ruler here. And now I would measure over here so far from my center front so far, and then the center front so far. So now I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here. Okay. Now here I have drawn a line that goes through piece number 1 through piece number 4. Now, if I'm going to use fashion fabric for piece number 5, piece number 5 is the flap lining, because this flap, it looks like a pocket, as you can see here. If I'm going to cut it out in pinstripe fabric also, I want to make sure that I add that line right there exactly where it's going to go together. So now let me explain how we do separate pieces, because we now know how to do one piece, which is the jacket, but how do we make it so that our skirt and our jacket, the pinstripes line up right with each other? So let me move these pieces out of the way, and now we will be working with our center front and our skirt. Just like piece number 4 has a dart, our skirt also has a dart. As you can see up here, it has a dart at the waistline. So I want to be sure that my line is going to go on this side of the dart, the side that has the center front. So now this pink line across here is my waistline. All the time you will see that your pattern pieces will have marked on there where your waistline is and where the bust line is also. On your skirt, you know the waistline is here. So I want to match up my center front with my jacket and my skirt, and also match up that waistline, and then put a pin through it. Now what I want to do is I want to take a long ruler and take that line, same line that I used for my pinstripe, and put it all the way through the skirt. So now when I go to construct all my pattern pieces, all of them are going to line up exactly with each other on the pinstripe, from the jacket front to the jacket side to the pocket flap into the skirt. Now I want to explain why it's important to use this side of the dart. Once this dart here is sewn, it is going to distort the fabric on this side of the dart. Okay, so let me fold a dart inside of there. Now, once this dart is sewn in there, all of our lines on this side of this piece of material is going to become distorted because of that dart. So that's why putting this line here, I'm wanting to make sure that it is on this side of the dart. So in essence, what I'm trying to do is trying to draw a line from one end to the other where there is no distortion. Okay, now that we have marked our line, this is where we come to step number 3. Now this is where we place our pattern on our fabric and cut it out. So now we take our line and we place it on the fabric, making sure that it is the same pinstripe. You may wish to pin this side and this side, fold it back, making sure that you're using the same pinstripe all the way down, and then pin it. Do the same thing to this piece here, making sure you're using the same pinstripe, and then pin that down. Same thing with piece number 5. When cutting these pieces out, you're going to cut out only one at a time. So many times when you make a line or anything in your pattern, whether it's the tissue or whether it's tracing paper or anything like that, you can see through where that line is on the other side, because we want to make a mirror image of this pattern piece. So what I do is I line that up, and then after I've cut it out, I put an X on this side. So now I know I have cut out this side. Then when I go to cut it out again, I will be able to, number one, see the line that is going through my pattern piece. If you can't, draw that line and transfer it over to the other side. And then cut out this piece and then put an X on it on this side, so that you know you cut out two pieces. So you've cut out this piece here, which is the left front, and then you've cut out the right front. Now we want to make sure that that line is right on our pinstripe, and that's why we cut out one piece at a time. Now it does take a little bit more work, but the end product is far worth it. Okay, so that's it. I told you it was as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now I want to share some pictures with you of my completed suit, and yes, the pinstripes.